Nyanum Ghana for Michicha Muina, a poor a lawyer Paul Adomotri at the analysis be out to concerning the NDC Amanoku and MPP Amanoku. Two main flag bearers. I say or compare reality versus potential. So share John Dramani Mahama, that is reality. We purchase will be the vice president that was also be president that. So that is reality. And I think so or share the other side, the rising star vice president Mahamadou Bawumia, that is potential. If it's a be the vice president that for I think say 8 years ni. If I say for 7 years, it's not we say here we can say 8 years ni. So he knows how the system is running. But say one reality our Ghanaians for Infanto Muchimni say in different parts of the world, especially in Brazil, compare Lula or by a prime minister. And so Bashana Juma, I'm also the baby. And it's happening in Singapore. Some prime minister, no Shana Juma, so he was reinstated, even though none temesti, but he was reinstated if Senana Juma. But share reality, John Dramani Mahama, it is very complicated. If so about power no. Amama Bwagana for Nemu or how many point 2 year. Into a shepherd, MPP Amanokuna and NDC Amanokuna, or share Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia, our reality more. I think so our more potential of winning. I'm gonna find Sabinakune Kutin in Cemetery Mumbra, Madam
12. Dr. Bawumia has been vice president from 17 to 20 and is continuing his second term as vice president. In fact, Dr. Bawumia has been a longer vice president than John Dramani Mahama. But in terms of 1 4-year vice president, they've all had it. So if the contest was for vice president, it will be reality versus reality. Once the contest is for president, it is potential of Dr. Bawumia. What kind of a president could he be? Would he be good? Would he be bad? Would he be tall? Would he be short? Would he be blue? Would he be red? We don't know. It's potential. How do we assess him? Based on what he's saying in the campaign, and based on what we know that he has done. John Dramani Mahama is reality. Reality can be president again. We saw it in Brazil. Lula, Brazil's famous president. He was president. He ended his tenure. I think it was prime minister. They have a political system that mimics the UK system. So he was a kind of prime minister, I believe so. And Lula led Brazil, left for many years, difficult situation, came back to Brazil because the Brazilian people were calling for Lula's time. Lula was one of their most famous presidents in the last, maybe since the Second World War. Lula has been one of the most famous presidents of Brazil. Not just famous, but also popular and really able presidents of Brazil. So Lula went back. In Singapore, it happened. 82-year-old prime minister was re-elected to the Singapore prime minister position. So yes, reality can come back all the time. But the reality comes back based on the reality. The reality comes back to campaign that you know me, you know what I've done, you want what I did, it's better than now, vote me back to power. Now, that's John Mahama's situation. His reality is complicated. So the NDC PR for this election needs to get Ghanaians to answer this question in the affirmative. The reality of John Mahama and the potential of Alhaji Mahamadou Bawumia. That is why, because of the potential difficulties of this argument for the NDC, that is why I agree with them. If I were them, I'll do the same. And potential John Dramani Mahama and Mahamadou Bawumia. The NDC is pitching the election as the NDC political party and the NPP political party. And what's the NDC saying? We have 8 years, they have 8 years. In Ghana, we do 8-year cycle. Why does a party want to do? They don't say why does Bawumia, they say why does a party? The MPP people also, because of the economic difficulty that is facing them, they are also shooting it hard and saying that look at John Dramani Mahama, look at what he did, look at how we defeated him in 2016, and check out Dr. Bawumia, even as vice president, see the innovations he's done. In fact, MPP are saying that forget about presidency, take Vice President John Mahama, Vice President Bawumia, compare them. And if you do that comparison, many civil society people will vote for Dr. Bawumia. It may be that Dr. President Mahama was unlucky, I don't know. But if you look at the reality, that's what some people will say. It doesn't mean it's the truth. Others will say something else. Opinions are like noses. We all have them. It's a democracy. We judge or we don't war. All right, let's continue with the analysis. So let me take you back a little bit, viewers. Let me take you back a little bit and show you in the critical elections that we have had, all of the critical elections that we have had, why it has been what it is in terms of the PR. All right, shall I clean this or not? I should close it. Great. So we come to election 2000. What was the NDC's potential PR story? Here's Professor John Evans Atta Mills and Flight Lieutenant Rawlings. In election 2000, the NDC were looking for a third term, but it wasn't quite a third term they were looking for. What they were looking for looked like a fifth or sixth term, because J.J. Rawlings had been in power since 1981 up to 1991. That's 10 years, isn't it? Then he had begun a constitutional arrangement from 1992 up to 2000. That's 8 years, isn't it? So it was 10 plus 8 that the NDC were battling. They were not battling a third term. They were battling an 18-year streak of political power. And Ghanaians had been exposed by then. The level of exposure of Ghanaians in 1992 was much better than in 1982. Take even media, simple. 1982 was black and white television. 1992 was color television. In that regard, the exposure of Ghanaians had doubled, tripled, even quadrupled between 1981 and by 1992. They were getting frustrated with the governance system that was led by one man, J.J. Rawlings, his wife, Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings, P.V. Obey, Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, Otchere, and all of these socialist people who had led the country through the revolution. They had done their bit, they had done well, but people were tired. The PR that Professor Mills needed to overcome in 2000 elections, you can say with the benefit of hindsight, I will accept it. The PR that he needed to overcome was to show and demonstrate that he, J.E.A. Mills, was taking Ghanaians along a different trajectory from what J.J. Rawlings had done. Professor Mills completely overturned this event, stood it on his head, when in Ho, where I was as a reporter, he announced to the whole world, J.J. Rawlings was there. In fact, I have a photograph with Rawlings on that day. That was my first interview with Rawlings. And I have to say thank you to Kofito, Tobi Kwache, Samata Mensah, and Komla Dumo, who all together arranged that interview. It was a beautiful occasion for me. And I have a photograph of it. Maybe Tuesday I'll bring it to the star. I guess I've showed it to you before. J.J. Rawlings was headlining that event as president of Ghana and leader of the NDC. It was the rally to show Professor Mills as the new presidential candidate. What did Mills say? Mills took the microphone and said something that turned out to be completely disastrous for the NDC campaign. He said to JJ, and I'm not even paraphrasing, I'm quoting. He said, Mr. President, you are not going anywhere. I am going to consult you morning, noon, and night. And that was it. Every Ghanaian turned away from Professor Mills because this is what they didn't want anymore. Not that they didn't like Rawlings, but they were tired of him. Because
think the months preceding the presidential elections, you particularly made Nana Akufo-Addo your ministry. Now, there was no moment that if you didn't attack the very person of Akufo-Addo, you will not be complete as a person. And I'm referring to this NDC forum for setting the record straight. And let me capture something that you said, which I found very interesting. Yeah, Fifi, you said,
Honorable Member for Bokwasab, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Fifi, you said, those who are unable to tell the truth about their past cannot be trusted to tell the truth about their present and their future. And they went on when you said, between Atta Mills' NDC and Akufo-Addo's NPP, the choice cannot be any easier for Pastor Otchere and co. Whereas NDC Atta Mills is a genuine man of peace, NPP's Akufo-Addo has blood and violence dogging his political trail. NDC's vice chairman in the Abuakwa Central constituency, Abu Mohammed, remains a cripple today because of the brutality meted out to him by Akufo-Addo's thugs. Again, in the year 2004, Akufo-Addo's thugs on the night of the election set ablaze NDC's office in Chebi, Abuakwa South, where I'm the MP, and destroyed everything in that office. Akufo-Addo's naturally violent propensity obviously has made his party even more violent since he became the leader of the MPP. Now, Fifi, I suggest to you, with all due deference to you, I'm not here to embarrass you, that do you know that this statement against Akufo-Addo is one of the lies that you were selling out?